You were so close. Not close in some vague, abstract way. Close like you could see it, you could feel it. The job, the relationship, the project, the version of your life you'd been quietly building toward. And then you stopped. You didn't send the email. You didn't make the call. You started second-guessing everything, pulling back, going quiet. And somehow, the opportunity slipped right through your hands. And the worst part? You did it to yourself. If that sounds familiar, then this video is for you. Because what just happened wasn't weakness. It wasn't laziness. It was your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. And today we're going to talk about why. There's a strange paradox that almost no one talks about. We're afraid of failure. That part we all understand. But sometimes we're even more afraid of success. Not because we don't want it, but because a part of our brain, an old prehistoric part, treats success like a threat. Psychologists call this self-sabotage. And it shows up in ways you might not even recognize. Procrastinating right when something matters most. Starting fights in relationships that are actually going well. Suddenly losing all motivation the moment you start gaining real momentum. Telling yourself you'll start next week. And then next week never comes. This isn't random. This is your nervous system running a program it learned a long time ago. A program designed to keep you safe, even if safe means staying stuck. Let's talk about what's actually happening inside your brain. Deep in your brain sits a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Its one job? Detect threats, react fast, keep you alive. For most of human history, that was incredibly useful. A rustle in the bushes? The amygdala fires before you've even thought about it. Heart racing, muscles tensed, eyes wide, your body is already moving. The problem is, your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a tiger in the wild and a high-stakes conversation you've been putting off for 3 weeks. To your brain, anything new, unfamiliar, or high-stakes registers as potential danger. And success, by definition, is a place you've never been before. So when you're right on the edge of a breakthrough, your amygdala doesn't celebrate. It panics. And the fastest way to stop the panic? Pull back. Delay. Destroy the thing that's triggering the alarm. Your brain would rather keep you in familiar pain than risk unfamiliar success. Think about that for a second. The comfort zone isn't actually comfortable. It's just predictable. And to your nervous system, predictable feels like safe. Now here's where it gets deeper. In 1978, 2 psychologists named Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes were studying some of the most accomplished women in academia. People with impressive degrees, publications, respected careers. And they found something that genuinely surprised them. No matter how successful these women were, many of them secretly believed they were frauds. Not just a little self-doubt, a deep, persistent belief that they didn't actually deserve it, that they'd gotten lucky, that they'd fooled everyone, and that eventually someone would figure it out. Clance and Imes called this Impostor Syndrome, and what started as a study about high-achieving women quickly became one of the most recognized psychological phenomena in the world, because it doesn't just affect academics. It affects entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, executives, creatives. It affects people who are genuinely, objectively talented and still feel like they're faking it. Maybe you know that feeling. You put in the work. You got the result. And yet some quiet voice in the back of your head keeps whispering, "You got lucky. This won't last. They'll figure you out eventually." And here's the cruel twist. Impostor syndrome doesn't get better as you get more successful. It often gets worse, because the higher you climb, the more you have to lose if someone finds out. So your brain does the math. If I don't try, I can't be exposed as a fraud. If I sabotage it before it fails on its own, at least I'm in control. Self-sabotage in this light is a form of self-protection. It's not stupidity. It's not weakness. It's your brain playing defense against itself. But there's one more layer, and this one goes the deepest. Every one of us is walking around with an internal picture of who we are. Not who we want to be, who we believe we are at our core. Psychologists call these core beliefs, and they're usually formed early, in childhood, shaped by the messages we absorbed from parents, teachers, peers, and experiences, long before we had the tools to question them. People like me don't get to have nice things. I'm the one who almost makes it, but never quite does. Success like that, that's for other people. These aren't conscious thoughts you choose. They're operating underneath, running silently in the background, like code that was written into your system before you even knew you had one. And the tricky part is, you can't see the code. You only see the output. You only see yourself pulling back, blowing things up, choosing comfort over growth. Psychologist Gay Hendricks has a name for what happens. When your outer life starts to exceed your inner blueprint, he calls it the upper limit problem. Think of it like a thermostat. Your internal thermostat is set to a certain temperature, a certain level of success, love, happiness, or peace that your subconscious has decided is normal for someone like you. When life gets too good, when you push past that setting, the thermostat kicks on. And it brings you back down to where it thinks you belong, not through some mysterious outside force, through you. Through your own choices, your own words, your own behavior. The ceiling isn't out there, the ceiling is inside you. So what do you do with all of this? I'm not going to give you a 5-step plan, because self-sabotage doesn't respond to tips and tricks. It responds to awareness. The most powerful thing you can do, starting right now, is to stop treating self-sabotage like a character flaw and start treating it like information. When you notice yourself pulling back right when things are going well, when you feel the urge to blow something up that's actually working, don't shame yourself. Don't spiral. Just pause and ask, what is my brain trying to protect me from right now? Not to make excuses, but to understand. Because the moment you can name the fear behind the behavior, it loses some of its grip on you. Not all of it, but some. And some is enough to start. Awareness is the entry point. Not the whole journey, but nothing real begins without it. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not self-destructive by nature. You have a brain that learned to protect you in ways that no longer serve who you're trying to become. And the fact that you're here, watching this, sitting with this, means some part of you already knows it's time to update the program. Real change doesn't start with willpower, it starts with insight. And you just gained some. If this video hit something in you, sit with it for a minute before you scroll on. Drop a comment and tell me, where do you self-sabotage the most? Work, relationships, creative projects, your own health? I read every single one. And if no one has told you this recently, the fact that you're asking these questions about yourself already puts you ahead. Most people never do. Subscribe if you want more of this. Not because you have to, but because this is the kind of content that actually changes the way you see yourself. I'll see you in the next one.